Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is March 21st, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. See BC, Washington, Oregon. Check out some of the clouds being spread back up over the region. Some shower activity with this. It's going to be increasing here over the next day or so as well. We have a thunderstorm threat over the next couple of days. Also, you can see some of the cooler air spilling off of British Columbia out over the Pacific Ocean, kind of helping continue this troughing here across the Pacific Northwest. We've got some chilly Arctic air moving down. You can kind of see it right here, mainly staying east of the Rockies. So we'll take a brief look at that, and then we'll take a look at the extended forecast. Looks like some stronger systems starting to show up in the European and the GFS as we go through the early portion of next week. Now, taking a look at the visible satellite, you can kind of see the system off the coastline here, bringing some showery activity here, but there are some nice sun breaks out here this morning across western Washington, even across the Willamette Valley, especially east of the mountains here. See some mountain wave activity clouds going on out there also. If we look at Spokane, again, we're expecting some snow for the mountains here, especially as we go through the day Saturday. Some of the Interstate 90 could be impacted, Highway 2, Highway 20. We've got to watch out for those slick and snow-covered roadways here. You know, it's still March here in the Pacific Northwest. You can definitely still bring some snowfall for the higher terrain, and this was issued by the National Weather Service Spokane at 5 a.m. this morning. This is turning colder with snow. Uncertainty remains, but the moisture and the cold air is likely to meet up somewhere across some of the Rocky Mountains here in places for Montana, often in the Dakotas, and places across some of the northern plains. Pretty dynamic system rolling in here. And the greatest potential for widespread snow Saturday and Sunday. So just a heads up, if you're traveling eastbound out of Washington, Oregon, or Idaho, going across some of the Rocky Mountains here, it is some cold air moving down across the region here, and your travel could be impacted. And we'll monitor this here as we go through the next couple of days also. And if you want a nice, affordable home weather station, lightning detection system, all solar powered, ultrasonic anemometer, haptic rain gauge, great smartphone app, stores all the data for you in the cloud. Click on the link down below to save 10% off. Now, looking at SeaTac, look at this, 51 degrees versus 74 that we had back on the 16th. Big temperature drop. You probably felt it out there yesterday. That's 4 degrees below average for this time of year and nowhere near our record high we had for the 20th of 79 set back in 2019. Here's day one thunderstorm outlook. You can see kind of southwest Montana here, but as we go through tomorrow, check it out. We introduced this for some of western Oregon, and then as we go on in through Saturday here, and this could actually bump up a little bit earlier here. It may start to include some western Washington as we go through tomorrow night. I'll show you more on that here in a moment, but you can see we do have a thunderstorm threat here, and that does include some of Idaho and Montana also. Now, if we take a look at the composite reflectivity on this morning's high-resolution rapid refresh, this model runs every single hour, and this is what the Doppler radar may look like as we go through the day today. You can see some of that showery activity here as we go through the afternoon hours. The bulk of the precipitation remaining off the coastline here, and then we start to bring this next slug of moisture here into western Oregon as we go through the day Friday, and we could have some thunderstorm activity with this, and that could even include some portions of western Washington as well. And as we go on into Saturday, this may bring some snowfall for the Cascades. Also, as you can see, the low pressure center spinning off the coastline, continuing to pump moisture back into the Pacific Northwest. And then we've got more systems after that. I'll show you that here in a moment. Looking at the lightning flash density potential, so let's scroll through this, and you can see this thunderstorm threat as we go through the day Friday, kind of moving up into southwest Washington here, maybe Vancouver Island as we go through Friday evening. We'll watch that again tomorrow. These setups can be pretty fickle here. It's tough to get lightning strikes here across the Pacific Northwest, but there is the chance of it as we go through the day tomorrow, Friday. Now, taking a look at total snow Kuchera ratio in inches. This is the North American model, high resolution model. It runs 4 times a day, every 6 hours. And if we scroll on into Saturday, you'll see some of the snow start to pile up across a little bit of the Oregon Cascades, a little bit better for Washington here, up into BC, a bit of precipitation here. So it could cause some winter driving conditions going across I-90, Highway 2, Highway 12. You guys know the drill. Not expecting anything to lower elevations right now of eastern Washington, western Washington, or the Willamette Valley, however, or even into southwest BC. Now, looking at European ensemble mean here on the left, last night's run versus the GFS on the right. We're looking at 18,000 feet, 500 millibars. Take a look at the troughing off our coastline right here. It's going to be with us here for the next couple of days, and as we go on in through Saturday, you can see that kind of kick through, but we remain in some of this troughing here, and then you see the next system hot on its heels as we go on into the early portion of next week, and that could have a stronger system associated with it. More on that here starting now with the European last night's run. You can see our trough off the coastline here, again pinwheeling, spinning some moisture back up over the region the next couple of days. You can see the gradients here where that cooler Arctic air or colder Arctic air sets up here at Rocky Mountains east across some of Montana into the Dakotas, and then we bring this next weaker system here as we go through Monday, but then a stronger system's been showing up. Check out that 980 millibar low there as we go through Tuesday night. That would be a stronger frontal system here. That's the one we're watching for, to kind of see what this is going to bring, because the GFS shows something similar, which I'll show you here in a moment, but it's a little bit further south. Now, looking at 850 millibars, you can clearly see where that Arctic air, the boundary of it here, right up against the Rocky Mountains. We'll scroll all the way back here, and you can kind of see where that Arctic air not making its way back into western Washington. But if you look up here, you can kind of see what we saw in the infrared satellite imagery as I started the video. It is pouring out here and helping that troughing here off the Pacific Northwest, but we're not expecting any lower elevation snowfall, even for eastern Washington at this point. And then we scroll off into the future, and additional systems will be riding in here, and there would be that stronger system there with some colder air behind it as we move on into Tuesday night. Now, looking at GFS, 6-hour precipitation type. Here we go over the next couple of days. You see the low pinwheeling here, but I want to show you the next storm system coming. Show some kind of a semblance of a weaker frontal system there. Same thing as what the European was showing on Monday, but then this stronger system comes rolling in here. Look at this 989 millibar low right off our coastline here. So still got some model disagreement on the strength and the placement of that low, but this one definitely looks a bit more robust as we go through Tuesday night on in through Wednesday morning. We'll be watching that one closely. Here's total snow 10-to-1 ratio on this GFS. It's hot off the press as the 12Z run. And you see as we go through the morning Saturday, you can see that snow kind of flying across the Cascades, a little bit lesser amounts across Oregon, up into BC here, maybe east Washington as well. The Rocky Mountains picking up some snowfall also. So got to watch for those winter driving conditions on the day and the afternoon Saturday. Look at the national blend of models. Here we go for today, 58 for Seattle. It'd be a little bit warmer than yesterday. Already the sun is out a bit, and some warmer temperatures east of the mountains also. Then we scroll through the next few days, and you can kind of see the cool down coming as we go through this weekend here, kind of bobbing around in the 50s for many areas, maybe touching the 60s for some portions of eastern Washington. Nothing too crazy either way as we go. But if we look at the snow water equivalent, again, we've been talking about this every single day now, and we have dropped off some of these numbers here, but we do have the chance to rebuild it as we go through the next couple of weeks. It does look like we're going to remain in a trophy active pattern as we go on into the extended forecast. So that will be beneficial for some of the snow across BC, Washington, Idaho, and Montana. Oregon right around average right now, some places anyway. And here's a 6 to 10 day. You can see the Climate Prediction Center does agree as we go through March 30th, below average across much of the West. Here's the precipitation above average across much of the West all the way through March 30th, 8 to 14 day. Not much different there as you see the below average temperatures, above average precipitation. And just kind of throwing this out there as well, the last year we are running quite the deficit across some of the Cascades, even some of the Olympic Peninsula out here as well, and kind of a mixed bag elsewhere, not doing too hot across the Idaho Panhandle. That's why you still see some bits of drought out there. So the last year here, you can see some areas actually running 20 plus inches of a deficit precipitation wise. And you kind of see that reflected here. And Oregon's still dealing with some moderate drought, but it's nothing to be too concerned about right now. I mean, drought is just a natural process of our climate here across the Western USA, especially. And you can see Montana, Western Montana and Idaho not doing too well also. But yeah, anyway, here we go. It'll be interesting to look at tomorrow because we're going to look at that lightning potential a little bit more tomorrow morning. It's tough to get lightning strikes, in the Seattle metro and Portland metro, but it does happen from time to time. So we'll be watching that closely. We'll watch that next system that's out there across the Pacific Ocean. It'll be rolling in here as we go through the early portion of next week. It'll get organized and looks like it's going to bring kind of a stronger system as we go through Tuesday into Wednesday. We'll break that down day by day as well. So hopefully you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.